LeaderCast.
Hi, and welcome to Deep Leadership. I'm your host, John Rennie. Well, I hope all is well with you today. It is Saturday morning, and I have some exciting news to share with you. Starting today, the Deep Leadership Podcast will have a new sponsor. It's Jeremy Clevenger Fitness. Jeremy is a remote online strength and performance coach who is the founder of Liberty Hill Barbell in Austin, Texas. I've been working with him since January, and he has helped me make tremendous progress in my fitness journey. Now, at 55 years old, I'm the strongest I've ever been in my life, and I owe it all to the personal coaching I've received from Jeremy over this past year. And I'm excited that Jeremy has joined the Deep Leadership family to help bring these episodes to you each and every week. I also wanted to thank my long-term sponsor, Bottom Gun Coffee, for all their support over the years. And just so you know, I'm still drinking a hot cup of Bottom Gun Coffee right now as I record this episode. And I encourage you to check out their coffee if you haven't. They're a great company and great coffee. And again, I thank them for all their support over the years. Well, that is it. Today, we're going to be talking about the importance of physical health to leadership. And I've asked Jeremy to join me as a guest on today's episode to talk about why leaders need to make fitness and diet an important part of their daily routine. I love working with Jeremy and everything I've learned from him over this past year. And I know you're going to love this conversation. So, are you ready to dive in? Let's get started.
Welcome to Deep Leadership. Leadership is a people business. That's the philosophy of your podcast host, John Rennie. As a former Cold War submarine officer who spent 20 plus years leading businesses in corporate America before starting his own manufacturing business, he knows that leadership matters. Are you ready for some real-world actionable advice from John as well as his expert guests?
I'm ready.
The show starts right now.
Welcome to the Deep Leadership Podcast. Today I'm joined by Jeremy Clevenger. Jeremy is the owner of Liberty Hill Barbell Gym in Austin, Texas. He's also a remote online strength and performance coach. In fact, he is my strength and performance coach. He competes as a strongman and is ranked 6th in the nation in his weight class, and he's making a run for the world's strongest man in 2023. Now, I wanted to get him on the show to talk about why physical health is so important to leadership. So, Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man. Been really looking forward to this over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this as well. So just before we got started, I said, now you're in my world. So normally I'm in your world. You're training me, teaching me, showing me, and now you're in my world, in the podcast world. So I'm excited about this. So, and by the way, I am drinking my water today. So, Jeremy's got me drinking a gallon of water a day. So if I have to run off to the restroom, you'll know why. So, but Jeremy, tell us about your background. Where did your passion for lifting and fitness originally come from?
Yeah, so growing up, I was the short, chubby, overweight kid. I played a lot of sports, and the only way for me to really excel in the sports was because I had work ethic. I didn't have the natural God-given talent that some people have when it comes to their physique or their training or their strength or anything like that. So I really had to dig deep when it came to my training and stuff like that, especially if I wanted to get on the field. I went to school at a powerhouse for all sports, from wrestling, baseball, football, basketball, several state championships in there. And I found that when I was in the gym and I was training, I was seeing how it changed my body, but not only how it changed my body, how it changed my mindset, and how honestly, like when you're growing up, it's mostly about the way that people treat you. Like you want to be liked, you want to do all of this stuff. And as I became to get in better shape and as I gained more confidence and stuff like that, I realized that people treated me better. And I was like, okay, like there's something to this. Some people say it's shallow. Some people say it is what it is. But at the same time, it's like when you train your body and you get your body in a state of being healthy and being in shape, it shows people that you have respect for yourself. And so I saw myself go from 5'4", 180 pounds ish my freshman year to 5'10", about 185 my senior year. And so I was able to play varsity football and wrestling and baseball and everything that I wanted to do. And I watched it transform my body along the way. And I saw like, man, if I can do this, if I can do this for myself, how can I do this to help others? And so I went the whole college route for a year, and I was like, this isn't really what I need to do, especially once I found out that I didn't need college for it. All you need is a certification and essentially just build your testimonials out. So once I got that done, I just realized like I want to help as many people as possible do this. And so that's kind of what got me to where I am today.
That's fantastic. And now so you are into strongman competition. So explain to us a little bit. What's the how is like a strongman competition different from other lifting sports like powerlifting, CrossFit, Olympic lifting, and bodybuilding? What is strongman, and what is that like?
It's funny because as much as I like to crap on CrossFit for being what it is, honestly, CrossFit is probably the strongest relationship to strongman. You're carrying stuff, you're putting weights over your head, you're doing all of these awkward movements, and you take essentially what you would put in powerlifting and what you would put in CrossFit, combine them together, and then multiply it by like 10. And that's the difficulty of it. Like, we're deadlifting. I think 2 years ago at Nationals, the event was a 600-pound deadlift from a 4-inch deficit. So you're literally deadlifting from the tops of your feet. And that's a long way to pull weight, and especially when you're doing it for reps. But strongman is really just taking the static strength of powerlifting and taking the athletic side of Olympic lifting or CrossFit and combining them together. And it's a sport that's really growing now. And I love that because when I got into it, what would it be now, 3 or 4 years ago, it was something that, it was mainly a down south, Kentucky, Texas, a little bit of the East Coast type of thing. It wasn't nearly as big as it is now. They've got shows where they're paying out $5,000-$10,000 if you win the show. But it's getting to a point now where it's growing in the sport, and we're getting so many more young people and older people. I mean, there's guys that are joining the sport now that are 40 and 50 years old. They've never competed in anything in their life, but camaraderie and the brotherhood, like in strongman. If me and you are competing against each other and you're beating me at one event, I'm going to sit there and cheer you on because I know that that's going to push me to go harder on the next event. It's unlike any other sport that I've ever seen. Guys compete, sometimes piss drunk. Like they'll drink all day and then go compete, and half the time they win the show because that's just the type of people that really do it. But it's a really interesting sport, and it's something that I didn't really think that I would be too interested in until I realized, like, okay, I'm pretty good at this, because I realized that I don't have the static strength that a lot of powerlifters have. So like when you're squatting, benching, and deadlifting, but what I lack in the static strength, I make up for in the moving events. So like farmers carries, any kind of moving event, really picking up a sandbag and carrying it down 60 feet, doing a yoke run with 700 pounds on your back. That's essentially what strongman is you take two strengths that people have, combine it into one, and then the best athlete wins.
Interesting. And I've seen it on TV, and I've seen, your photos from events, like pulling a tractor trailer, like, wait, how do you train for that? It's just wild, So
yeah. And for some of those events, like when I pulled the semi truck, I think it was a 50,000 pound semi or something like that. I didn't train for that at all. All that I did was I did some sled pushes, which isn't even the same movement pattern. And then I had stones in that competition. I think I lifted a stone twice during that entire 12-week prep. So it's something that you just show up and you're either good at it or you're not. And whoever shows up the best on game day ends up winning.
Wow, that's wild. It is fun to watch, and it's like I said, difficult to train for. So I'll stick to powerlifting. At least it's 3 events that I can train for. So, but you and your partners are in the process of opening a brand new gym in Austin, Texas, called Liberty Hill Barbell. Now, what's the vision for the gym, and how will this gym be different than other gyms in the area?
So we're taking a little bit of a unique approach on this. So when I moved down here, actually be a year ago, September 1st, that we moved down. My goal was to have the gym open in like 2 months, and we're not to that point clearly. But it's been a lot of learning experiences along the way. And honestly, I'm kind of glad that we didn't open it right then, because I wouldn't have known what I know now. Like I felt like I was in a good spot, but we did a bunch of research on the back end and troubleshooting through the issues that we were running into, where now it's put us essentially in the perfect spot to open it. We found a location. We found some investors, some good quality people that were going to help grow this business. But also we're taking another unique approach in that we're going to add the faith component into it as well, where it's not just going to be show up at the gym, do this, like hit your workout, stuff like that. Like Saturday mornings when we have leg day, we're looking at having like a men's group or a Bible study of some sort beforehand, where maybe we go to breakfast, do the Bible study, hit the gym, train, and then we go on about our day. And it's been something that God has really like shown me is like, hey, I'm giving you this opportunity. Now don't waste it, essentially. And so we want the whole world to know, like, hey, God's providing us with this. And so we're not going to squander this opportunity to obviously glorify him in doing that. And that what that looks like is cutting out a lot of the trash music. So it's going to be, if it's not going to be worship music playing while you're training the entire time, but at the same time, it's going to be either the clean version of a song or some of like the newer rappers like KB, and some of those guys like the Christian rappers and stuff like that. So we're taking a little bit of a unique approach, and something that I haven't seen very many gyms do. And I think that that's going to, it's going to attract people from all different walks of life, but obviously it's going to help serve our bigger purpose as well.
That makes sense. And it sounds like it's going to be more of a community than just a gym.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we've already been so big on, like, we've talked to the pastor of our church, and our church is even potentially looking at partnering with us on it, because we do a community outreach basketball program. And so they're like, hey, maybe that's something where if we have some people who aren't able to afford a membership, they may sponsor 10, 15 guys who actually want to come in and train and just have that be a part of it. So we're really focused on like bringing as many people together as possible, because we know that in the end, the more people that we can draw in, the more people we can influence and send them out into the world. So
that's good. Now, as far as equipment that you're going to have in a gym, is this going to be your typical, steel weights, or is it going to be, cardio equipment? Is it going to be strongman equipment? Is it going to be tires for flipping? What's it going to look like inside when it's done?
We're going to have a little bit of everything, man. We've already got the dumbbells. We've got some stuff that we're ordering from Rogue. We're going to have multiple deadlift platforms, squat racks, benches. We're going to have turf that's either going to go down the middle of the gym, or there's a strip out back that we're looking at getting. They really just have grass growing out there, and it's all fenced in too. So we're thinking about turning that into either a turf area and or a strongman area where we have the stones and stuff like that. But we'll be hosting events. We're going to have cardio equipment. We've got a rower. We're going to have a stair climber, a treadmill for me to go do my walks during the day, so I can make sure I'm getting all my steps in. And then it is going to be more like the grittier, old school. Like, we've got dumbbells that'll go from 5 to 200, the bars, like all the chalk, essentially everything that you would find in an old school gym. We're just going to make it a little bit more modern and run with it that way.
Yeah. Do you move the 200-pound dumbbells, or you make 10, or do that?
I roll them.
Roll.
Yeah. The end caps on them are a little bit loose, so I can just get behind it and kind of push it across the floor. But,
and mine only go to 100 in my gym. So
yeah. And honestly, with these 200s, it's a little bit different than I've ever seen them made up. Like, I've never seen the dumbbell plates go up to 25 pounds. Like, I've seen 5s and 10s, like, especially if you look at a lot of the old school, but these are made out of 8 25-pound plates.
Oh my gosh.
And they're just massive. So it's going to be really cool. Whoever the first person is to bench them on like dumbbell press or something like that in the gym, I'm going to give like a free 6-month membership to, or something like that.
Oh yeah. They deserve it.
It'd be freaking nuts.
Yeah. I sometimes when I'm moving my 100 pounds around, I call it Thor's hammer, because sometimes it just doesn't come off the ground. You're like, wait, come on.
Yeah.
Those 200 pounders they must be brutal. So
yeah, it's
wow.
It's
So the other thing is, you also you coach men around the world, and you help them get in the best shape of their lives. And you work with me as well. Tell us, explain a little bit like your process. What is it you do with clients? Where do you start them? How do you is every program the same? Is every different? Tell us a little bit about what that looks like, that online coaching.
Yeah. So one of the cool things that I do with my online coaching is, and this is something that I've kind of tuned over the years, is I meet the client wherever they are. So this is something that I learned during COVID, because nobody had access to gyms really, unless you had a home gym. And so people were training with gallons of water in their couch and maybe a box of some sort that they can do box jumps on. So it made me get really creative with whatever the exercises were that they had, or the equipment was that they had access to. And so I had to get really creative in how I designed my workouts. Not only that, but I also, obviously with me working with a lot of business owners and stuff like that, a lot of people don't have 2 hours a day to go train at the gym. So it's like, hey, 30 minutes in and out, 45 minutes in and out. Like, we get you in, we base it around the equipment that you have, but at the same time, we're still getting every aspect of the training in. So we're going to do something that revolves around strength, something that revolves around weakness development. So for a lot of people, it's strengthening their posterior chain, like rows or hamstrings or something like that. And then we're going to do some sort of conditioning, some sort of core work, and then you'll be good to go about your day. And with that weakness development, a lot of times that's like the bodybuilding style training where it's going to be like higher volume stuff like that. But when it comes to just the way that I revolve it around people is, like I said, I meet you where you're at. And so if you haven't trained in 5 years, I'm not going to put you into a crazy intense workout. Like it's going to be something just to get you back in the flow of things, back in the groove, and to where it's not something that, hey, 2 days in, you can't walk, you can't move your arms, and you hate it and you quit. Because that's the biggest thing that I've noticed that people run into when it comes to training and setting up any kind of workout program is they want to go balls to the wall as soon as they get started. And that fire lasts for about 2 to 3 weeks and then they burn out. So I'm all about getting people baby steps in, and building that consistency. And for some people, if you haven't trained for 30 years and you want to get back in and all you've done is sit on the couch or sit behind a cubicle the whole time, we're just going to get you out and going for walks at first, get you moving, get your body used to actually moving around instead of being sedentary. And you'd be surprised the difference that makes in people's lives. Like, I can get you to do some air squats and push-ups on top of that, and you can get people to drop 10 to 15 pounds, maybe even 20 in 3 or 4 months. And so people are so surprised when it comes to that. Like, meet people where they are, and as they develop the consistency and as they develop the habits, then the workouts can get more advanced and more advanced and more advanced.
So is it just workouts, or you work with nutrition as well?
Yeah, so I do nutrition, I do accountability, and I do the workouts. So the accountability is going to be like our calls. You have the text and email access to me for any questions that you have. And then when it comes to nutrition, I'm not a registered dietitian, so I can't write you specified meal plans. But what I do is I give you a grocery list essentially that has all the foods that I could think of on there, your proteins, your fats, your carbs, your fruits, and your veggies. And then from there, we track essentially where your macros are getting started. See, okay, here's your calorie intake. And what I do is I manipulate that over the course of your training where you may be super high on fats and your body doesn't need that. So we may take the calories that we're getting from that, put it into protein or carbs. You'll be surprised at the difference that your body composition has just from switching something small like that over. And so have you track for a week or two just so I can get a baseline. And the reason that I do that is I don't want to overshoot or undershoot on your calories, where if you're taking in 2,000 calories a day, I think you're taking in 2,500. I'm like, okay, let's jump his calories up 300 calories a day. Now you're at 2,800. Well, if you're starting your base at 2,000, I jump you to 2,800. You're going to put on fat because you're adding 800 calories a day to the mix. But also at the same time, if I think that you're at 2,500 and I'm like, okay, let's drop you by 300, put you down to 22, you're still in surplus. So that's why I have people track just so I can get that baseline and see where they are. Once we get that, that's when we go through and start manipulating things. And that's when a lot of the fun really starts to happen.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors.
Leadership skills are like any other skills. You need to practice them to get better at them. Best-selling leadership author John S. Rennie knows this. That's why he's written a new book called You Have the Watch. It's a guided journal for leaders designed to take you through an entire year of leadership training. By the end of the year, you will master 50 of the most important leadership skills. If you want to have a greater impact on the results and people in your organization, go to youhavethewatch.com and pick up your copy today.
This podcast is brought to you by Jeremy Clevenger Fitness. As a high-performing leader, you know that leadership isn't about telling people what to do, it's about leading by example. And for most people, the one area they are lacking when it comes to leading by example is their health and fitness. By improving your health and fitness, every other area of your life improves. But how do you get and stay fit as a busy leader? Well, you do what you've always done. You hire the best person for the job. Now, don't struggle on your own. Put Jeremy Clevenger on your team. Jeremy will work with you to help take your physique, mindset, nutritional habits, and more to the next level with his step-by-step, all-inclusive coaching program. Now, I've worked with Jeremy for the past year, and I'm in the best shape of my life. So if you want to step up your game, reach out to Jeremy at jeremyclevengerfitness.com to find out more and get your initial consultation scheduled with him today. This episode is brought to you by the Fraternity of Excellence. The Fraternity of Excellence is an online and real-world community for men who are looking to improve in all areas of their lives. The men of FOE are working together to become better husbands, fathers, and leaders at work and in their communities. They live by a simple philosophy: as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Now, I've been a member for more than 3 years, and for me, I finally found a brotherhood of men that I was missing from my time in the military. Now, I love being around guys who are dedicated to becoming a better version of themselves. So if you're interested in becoming a man of excellence as well, go to fraternityofexcellence.com, or you can reach out directly to me to learn more. No, that's fantastic. I know personally for me, I really have appreciated the accountability side of things. So like at the end of every day, for those who are listening in, I text Jeremy, how, did I get my 10,000 steps in? Did I get my cardio in? Did I drink my gallon of water? And so, it's this level of accountability. Like, there's somebody, that you have to answer to at the end of the day. So it's funny because I used to joke with my wife. I said, I don't really need a personal trainer, and I needed someone following me around and knocking food out of my hand throughout the day. So that's my biggest problem is eating. But to be honest, I mean, I've learned so much working with you. My fitness levels, I'm the strongest I've ever been in my life. This year, hit records in lifting. Now we're working on some fat loss, and I'm dropping weight really quickly. It has really worked out. Your programs work. So the question I'd have for you is, why should the people listening to the show, why should they hire a coach? Why not just figure it out on their own? Watch some YouTube videos and why hire a coach?
Well, I know that a lot of the people, I've listened to quite a few of your podcasts. I know a lot of the people that are on here are leaders themselves in the business world in some way, shape, or form. And a lot of them are business leaders. So if you're looking to grow your business, what do? You go find somebody who's done it before, who knows how to teach you how to do it, and you work with them. Because my biggest thing that I do is I save people. One of the ways that I like to sell it is I'm going to save you 3 to 4 times the amount of time compared to what it would take you to do it. So if I think, okay, you're doing it by yourself, it's going to take you 1 to 2 years. If I can get that done for you in 3 to 6 months, what is that extra 9 to 15 months? What does that open up for you? Like that gives you so much more opportunity. And when people are busy and they have a busy lifestyle and they're successful leaders and stuff like that, time is money. So if I save you 9 months of time in the gym and stuff like that and getting you the results that you need, I think that is pretty self-explanatory on its own. But not only that, it also, like you said, it gives somebody that you have to hold accountability to. Like you can go buy a $30 ebook, you can go pay $5 a month for bodybuilding.com subscription, but you don't have anything holding you to that. You don't have anybody that you have to answer to. You don't have a financial investment in it or enough of a financial investment in it. Like my coaching is not cheap. And I'll say that straight across the board. Like it's affordable, but it's affordable for the people who are willing to make the investment and really want to grow themselves. I don't do the $50 a month coaching plans. Like it's going to hit you a little bit financially, but what that does is that forces you to stick to it. Because if I charge you $50 a month and you're making $500K a year, that $50 a month is nothing to you. You probably go through that and just swing to the gas station. Like it's not a big deal. And having that paywall is what separates the serious people from the not serious people. And I do have some lower ticketed products where, hey, if you're not willing to invest in that, it's totally fine. I've got something else for you. But when it comes to hiring that coach, it gives you the guiding hand. It's from somebody who has done it. Like I've worked with people who have dropped 80 pounds in 6 months. I've worked with people who have added 90 pounds to all of their big 3 lifts across the board in less than a year. And that's stuff that it would have taken them 2 to 3 years to do on their own. I had a guy that I was working with who was in the gym 6 hours a day. 6 hours a day. And he was eating 700 calories a day. Couldn't drop the weight. He was like 270 pounds.
Wow.
So what we do, we jump his calories back up. I cut almost 5 hours a day out of the gym for him. So he was only in there an hour a day. And over the past 4 months, he's down 45 pounds.
Wow.
And I just went through and I broke down a few things where he was struggling. Like I was like, you're not dropping the weight because your body's in starvation mode. You're spending way too much time in the gym, like 6 hours. I don't know what kind of a workout you're doing for 6 hours, but it's like, what is that 6 hours or what is that 5 hours of freed up time end up doing for you? And so I'm all about saving people time, saving people steps along the way. That's one thing that I've really learned is be as efficient as possible because people need efficiency, especially when you have a bunch of stuff going on. If I tried to have you go into the gym and I tried to have you train 3 hours a day, you'd be like, hey, I can't do this. Like I need something that's an hour and a half because you have other things that you have to do. So that's one of the biggest things when it comes to having a coach is you can go get the workouts from any website, but having something custom tailored to what it is that you need specifically is going to be a big step in helping you get to your goals in a fast period of time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like you said, I often say that leaders, especially entrepreneurs, you're athletes, right? You're performing at a high level. And so you need to hire the best coaches to help you in the areas that you're weakest in. And so that you can, so you're not wasting time, with trial and error, especially when you're starting a business, you want to grow that business quickly. You don't have time for mistakes. So you got to get it right the first time. So hire the right people to get you to the level you want to get at. So I think that's a great message. What are some of the physical changes? You mentioned the guy, you guys losing weight. What are some of the other physical changes you've worked with clients to do? So I'm sure you work with everybody from I'm sitting on the couch every day and I want to get fit to, or I want to lose 90 pounds to, I'm already a pretty good athlete, but I want to get to the next level. What are some of the transformations that you've seen with your clients?
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting topic because I haven't, when I first got into this, I was like, I'm going to train in-person people and I'm going to train athletes. That's what I was. That's all I wanted to train. And now 95% of the people that I work with are all middle-aged men who are just like, hey, I need to get in shape. I want to perform better. I want to feel better. And so it's been kind of crazy how that's all played out. But I mean, I've had guys who have gone from not being able to deadlift a bar without being in excruciating pain to deadlifting 315 for 5 to 10 reps at a time. I've got guys who, like we're working with you on your shoulder, like shoulder pain comes up, you can't bench, it's an issue. Okay, we resolve it. You're back able to train again. You're able to get stronger. Your body composition gets better. I've had guys who torn ACLs and all kinds of knee issues. We go through and resolve those. And it's not just through the training, but I provide the mobility for you to do outside of training. I provide just different stretches and a bunch of different exercises that are going to target that specific area. And I think that that's one of the cool things about having a coach as well is, okay, if you have a knee issue or a shoulder issue, that workout that you buy in that ebook doesn't take that into accountability. So that doesn't take it into account. It's, okay, this is going to be something for the general public. That's what those things are made to do, is serve the general public. But when you have very specific issues where maybe you have bicep tendonitis, or you have 2 torn ACLs, or have had 3 knee surgeries or something like that, you can't go through and train at the same level that I can. I've never been injured before. And I very much blame that essentially on the way that I train. I do a lot of volume. I also train heavy, but I'm also smart and I pay attention to my body. So when it comes to the physical aspects, I've seen it all across the board. Guys, I've worked with guys that have dropped 70 or 80 pounds. And then I've also worked with guys who just want to get strong and they just want to get, like you said, you just turned 55, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm 55. Yeah.
55, and you're the strongest that you've ever been. And you played football, and you were in the Navy and all that stuff. So it's
well, and we're working hard. We were 30 pounds to the North Carolina state record for the 3 lifts in powerlifting. Just working with you. So, pretty amazing progress, just working this year. So yeah, absolutely. And so that's why I agree, working with a coach, you're going to get, customized treatment. They're going to, focus on injuries. Like right now, I'm dealing with a little bit of a shoulder problem, but you help us work around that to get, to keep building strength, keep getting results, even with, working around injuries. I think that's great. What are some of the, we mentioned a lot of your clients are business leaders, entrepreneurs like myself. What are some other benefits that they see, and not just the physical benefits? What other benefits do people get when they become physically fit?
So there's a wide variety of them, actually. So you're going to, your energy levels, for one, are going to be much better. If all that you do is sit behind a desk all day, you're not getting blood flowing through your body like you need to. So even something as small as going in and getting a 30-minute workout in is going to energize you even more. If you do that before work, if you do it after work, it doesn't matter as long as you're getting the movement in throughout the day. So improved energy levels is going to be 1. Sleep is going to be 2. I know a lot of entrepreneurs and stuff like that run the whole thing. 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep. I'm like, okay, if you are running on 5 hours of sleep, we need to get your sleep during that 5 hours to be as high quality as possible. So by getting the workouts in and getting your nutrition on check, where you're not eating 20 minutes before you go to sleep and now you have crap sleep the entire night, where we're timing it out based on, okay, I'm going to be going to bed at 9 o'clock. All right, cool. Your last meal is at 6. Cutting it off, give your body time to digest it. Now your sleep's even better. You wake up the next morning, you're energized, and it all plays into that circle. there's guys that, and there's a few guys on Twitter that are really big on when you're in better shape, you get paid more. And there's something in the psychology behind it where if a guy walks in for a job and he's 300 pounds and you can tell that he doesn't take care of himself, and then a guy walks into the job and he's 190 pounds and he's jacked and he's ripped and he has confidence about himself, he's going to get the job probably, and he's also going to get paid more than the other guy. So just being in shape, it's going to help you financially. And not only that, just self-confidence and being able to walk around and know, hey, I put the work in for whatever it is. You don't have to be you don't have to be bodybuilding physique ready. Like knowing that you put the work in to drop that extra 30 pounds, and now that you're able to fit into clothes that you haven't fit into in 5 or 10 years. Like I've worked with a few people who have done like wedding preps. And so they just want to get in shape leading up to their wedding. 6 to 9 months gives us plenty of time. Now they're in the best shape of their lives for the biggest day of their life. And so it's really cool watching all of that come full circle.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I do agree with all that. I mean, it teaches you discipline. It teaches you, and you get confidence as you overcome difficulties and you make progress and you build self-confidence and, you carry yourself better. And I'll just, as an entrepreneur leader myself, it's helped me, improve my business, just in terms of my relationships. Like you said, when you see somebody that is in shape and kind of squared away, you trust them more because like, okay, this person is just disciplined. They're willing to put in the work. And so I'm willing to work with them, whether it's, working with customers, working with vendors, working with partners. They're like, okay, this guy looks like, or gal's got their act together. I'm willing to work with them. So I think you do carry yourself differently when you are in better physical shape. And the other thing I would say too is that, as an entrepreneur, especially, you're going to be dealing with a lot of pressures. You're going to be dealing with a lot of stress and a lot of uncertainty, and you're going to have employees looking to you to be strong when times are tough. And I think being physically strong helps you be emotionally strong as well. So I think these things are tied together as well. So yeah, I think if you're not fit, you should get fit, because I think it helps you in business as well. So absolutely.
That's another cool thing real quick before, that's another cool thing about having a coach too, is when it comes to like just the different stresses of life, like your body responds to them all very similarly, whether work is stressful or family is stressful or your workouts are hard. So when you have a coach, what that does is it allows you somebody, hey, I'm going to be traveling for the next 4 days. Like I'm not going to have much energy to train at all. And work is stressful and I'm fighting with my wife. Okay. That's 3 different things that you have to take into consideration when it comes to your workouts. So if you have all of those 3 things going, you're probably going to have at most maybe a 30-minute workout worth of energy, because you have your stress is going all these other places. Whereas if you have no stress in your life, that's typically the people that can train long, and they can train with a ton of frequency. I work with some guys who train 6 days a week, 2 hours a day, but they also have very lucrative lives. They don't have to stress too much. But when you're in a leadership position and you have employees relying on you and your family relying on you and stuff like that, having somebody who can help you manage your stress. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to tell you any of that stuff, but managing your stress from a nutrition and a workout standpoint, that's going to be very big, because if not, that can lead to burnout very easily.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen, I had a lot of people on the show, entrepreneurs that did go through burnout because, they were lighting their candle on both ends. They didn't take care of themselves physically. And then and as a result, a lot of them got sick. A lot of them, lost their business. A lot of bad things happen when you don't take care of your body. So this is not just something, a nice to have. I think as a leader, as an entrepreneur, it's a must have. If you want to really be in the game for the long term, you've got to physically take care of your body. You take care of your mind, take care of your body, take care of your soul. These are important things if you're going to be successful as an entrepreneur, as a leader. So fantastic. What would you tell the person that's maybe listening in and maybe they've struggled with consistency in fitness for most of their lives? How can people get started with even some simple basic habits?
So depending on where you're coming from in that area of just getting started, my biggest thing is to just start moving. And what that could be, if you've been sitting on the couch for 15 years and you haven't been in the gym, going for a 30-minute walk each day is going to work wonders for what it's going to do for your energy levels and your sleep and your body composition and your weight. I know a lot of people get fixated on the weight aspect of it, But I have some guys who, and like we've done for you, like your nutrition was locked in, your training was locked in, but we were still, okay, where's the weight loss? Like I'm getting stronger. I'm staying where I am. My body composition is improving. What do? We added in the 10,000 steps a day. And now you're seeing weight just drop. I mean, even upwards of 1 to 2 pounds a week, which is right in the sweet spot of where you like to be. So just start moving, start doing something. Like don't dive in, kind of like I hit on earlier. Don't dive in head first, because what's going to happen is you're going to be on fire for 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even 4, 5, or 6 weeks. But at some point, if you don't have your foundation laid, you're going to fall off, and then you're going to fall off and you're going to spiral right back down. And the way that I explain it to people is, okay, you got somebody who's really overweight, 500-600 pounds. They go get liposuction, drops them down to 200. You don't change the habits. So they continue to eat as they did when they were 500, 600, 700 pounds. They put that weight right back on. And so that's the same thing when it comes to training is, okay, build the foundational habits, because we can get you to drop 90 pounds in 3 months. You're going to hate it, and it's not going to be sustainable. I don't crash diet anybody. I have, honestly, most people that I work with, they all enjoy their diets. They all enjoy their foods. Like it's not something that is a source of stress for them. But by laying that foundation and making sure that each step that you're building up along the way, that's going to be the biggest key when it comes to just progressing in whatever your goals are. It could be strength, it could be weight loss, whatever that is.
Yeah. Okay. So just get moving. Get moving. And the benefits of water. I know you're a big proponent of water. You've got me drinking a lot of water. And so what are some of the benefits of water?
So when it comes to water, it's mainly to stay hydrated. A lot of people will wait until they feel thirsty to drink water. And by that point, it's too late. You should, for anybody that's listening, you should be peeing clear at all times. If you start to notice that it's getting yellow, get more water in your system. But a way that I like to explain that to people is, when it comes to like your body and your nutrients and stuff like that, it's all like ships that are sitting in the sea or sitting in the canal waiting to get let through. And if there's no water in the canal, the boats aren't going to move through. So by staying hydrated, you're keeping the water essentially in the canal for your body to transport the nutrients and transport all the macros and honestly, your blood flow just in general to get it to where it needs to be. Because a lot of people, when they're dehydrated, they lack the energy, and it's not because they're not eating enough food or they're not eating the right food. They just don't have the water in there to push it through. But it's also just good for weight loss in general, because what it does is when you drink water, you feel full afterwards. So a lot of times when your body's giving you like that craving, that I'm hungry craving, you're really thirsty. And so you go drink some water and your hunger goes away. And so just supplementing that in, and it doesn't have to be 2 gallons a day. Most people, I start off at a gallon. And if you live somewhere down south where it's 97 out there, or if you do like a manual labor job, maybe up to 1.5 gallons, because you have to stay hydrated. If your hydration's not on point, your sleep's not going to be on point, your recovery is not going to be on point, your training's definitely not going to be on point, because then you run the risk of injury a lot more, as people like with your tendons and stuff, when they're not lubricated with water and all of that good stuff. That's when you run into the issues of tearing ligaments and tendons and tearing your pec off the bone or something like that, doing a relatively easy exercise. So there's a ton that goes into water.
Okay. That makes sense. And also helps get your steps in, because you're always running to the bathroom. So
true that. Yeah. Walk across the warehouse when you need to use the bathroom, and I guarantee you that's it.
I love it. Well, this has been, Jeremy, this has been fantastic. I think you helped us kind of understand some of these things. And obviously if you're one of those people that needs to dive deep, Jeremy's a great resource. Again, I can vouch for him. I've gotten stronger. I've lost weight. I'm in the best shape of my life, just working with Jeremy. And so I highly recommend him. But even if you don't get him, go get started in some way, shape, or form. But Jeremy, if they want to work with you, if they want to find out more about your gym, and your online coaching, where should they go?
So my biggest resource right now is Twitter. I'm working on building out a website and building out a landing page for all of my coaching. But I'm on Twitter at big_germ200. Just shoot me a message on there, shoot me a follow, and we can get on there and chat about what it looks like with us working together. I do, like I said, I also do like some consulting and stuff like that. So if you don't need a coach for 12 weeks, you just want to get on there and pick my brain for an hour, I do offer the one-off consultation calls as well for anybody who's interested.
And the gym, when do we think we'll open the doors?
So we are in negotiations with a lady right now. Essentially, the whole approval process, once that gets done, it essentially takes 7 to 8 weeks for them to do the full build out, which is really cool. They kind of packaged that in there for us. We added another year to the lease. They built out the entire inside for us. And so the 8 weeks from once that gets finalized, so we're looking late November, early December, which will be good because we'll be able to get a lot of the New Year's resolutioners in there and get them in a solid game with solid coaches and stuff like that. It's in a pretty cool spot too.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. I'm really happy for you. I think that gym is going to make a difference in your community. And I think it's going to make a difference across the country as people kind of plug into the online coaching and that you do and really this community that's going to get built up in Austin. So Jeremy, I really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing all these insight. I think physical fitness is really important in a leader's life. And, you're helping people, get fit, get in shape, and take care of that thing that's probably been bugging them for a long time. So, Jeremy, thank you for coming on the show and sharing all this knowledge.
No problem, man. I appreciate you having me. I'm glad we were finally able to get a time set up to rock this.
Yeah, me too. So this has been fantastic. So thanks again. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for listening to Deep Leadership. If you like this podcast, please subscribe and share so we can continue to build a world with better bosses. And until next time, this is John Rennie saying take care and lead well.
Thank you for listening to Deep Leadership.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all you do.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more information and updates, please visit our website at www.deepleadershippodcast.com or johnsrennie.com. Until next time, take care.
Step inside the marketing mirror to uncover marketing secrets, discover gems, tactics, lessons, and campaigns you can use, next gen or fundamentals. Grab the marketing magic to improve your marketing and win more business.
Electricast. Welcome to the Reverie channel, where entertainment knows no bounds. Live concerts, on-demand music, documentaries, and short films, all in stunning HD. Now on Roku TV, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Immerse yourself from home. And on Android and iOS for those on the move. Support creators with crowdfunding donations. Fuel their creativity. Join us in shaping entertainment's future. The Reverie channel, where every view, every donation matters.